What you're seeing right here is a content creator. You have an influencer on the screen, right? And in order to do well with content, you have to understand what your audience wants and what they get off on. And for the most part, you have to be able to create your own, like pretty much your own porn for the most part, right? And a form of like internet or I guess like social media porn that black women enjoy in particular is anything that promotes this idea of black women getting with wealthy white men, really any kind of white man, but in particular one dynamic that they really enjoy is like the groom, because like they like the whole groomer thing. I don't see that as groomer, but like, you know, but you sometimes like when people talk about age gap dating and stuff like that, some people will try to argue that, oh, no, this person's being groomed, you're grooming someone, but they'll be talking about a person who's like a grown ass woman, someone who's like 19, 20. You can't groom someone at 19, 20. Like someone has to be like before, pretty much in their young adolescence. Like that whole, when people say groom, they're referring to like a family member or a friend or an authority figure like a teacher or a coach or somebody from the community who has some kind of authority, who was around that young person and they groomed them, made they introduced them to certain things, they had certain experiences with them that led up to, what they was doing with them. That's what grooming is in that sense. But in these scenarios right here, this right here is a whole genre of TikTok, a whole genre of social media that black women really enjoy, which is again this whole concept of um black women leveling up, or what they think leveling up is for black women, which is in this case it's really any situation that involves um either white men in relationships with black women, but in particular this idea of, yo, I'm making a smarter choice. I'm a smarter person. See, I'm not getting with, you know a black man that I think is attractive. I'm saying forget looks. You know what I'm saying, because it's supposed to be a flex to be with an ugly rich man, because it's like to say, all right, well, while you getting dick down and everything, and while you having romance and and being able to take nice pictures on social media with your man, I'm posted up with a goddamn fossil. She was with a white man who was 61 years old. And on top of that, this nigga's a scammer, a PDF file, and he had her paying her way. Let's get it.
Yeah, yeah. The lion hunter searching for me. White meat, those babes are in heat. Doesn't matter where it comes from, as long as it's white and has no money. Could be broken, no, but it doesn't matter as long as the white's unavailable. And those babes are desperate for white tea. No black man stands a chance. No black.
So Shorty right here is actually from the UK. So it's two things going on here too. Where like, yo, you see that, and I remember hearing AC say this too about like, yo, two things. Black women are getting to a point where they are the same worldwide. Does not matter where they are. Like Western, specifically Southern Black American culture has begun to influence the entire world. All right, Levi has become to influence the entire world. I won't play too much of the story and whatnot. I'm going to play the clip of basically him getting caught red-handed. Come here, Leaves. And then I'm gonna play a little bit of her telling a story about how they met and what was going on in the relationship. You know what I mean? Leaves, you okay? What's up, man? I'm gonna play the genre real quick. What's up, man?
Black man stands a chance. No black man stands a chance. Oh, if you are
Chill
black,
out, okay?
there's nothing
You
for
understand?
you.
A divestiture
You
tax.
understand? I'll see you later.
British
Okay?
divestiture allows an old white man to live in her house while she gives him money in order to pretend she is rich on social media. This is what she portrays on social media. She wants you to believe she is living in luxury with some old white man that is paying.
All right, so that is said white man. Okay, that's beloved right there. Now, mind you, this is not a white man that looks healthy. Not a white man that is particularly handsome. Yo, that man, actually no, he could be in the 70s. Nigga, he made Pierce Morgan look like James Bond. God damn it. No, he makes Pierce Morgan look like Pierce Brosnan.
Her bills and giving her money. As you can see, it's all fake, and if you are able to get through all of her babble, you will see that she was the one that paid for the dinner. This is what she said. So while she is living a lie on social media and grooming other black girls to believe this is the way to luxury, this is who the white man... Morgan. This is Kelly Morgan, the photo she put up on her TikTok, but let's dive deeper.
Let's look at this looker right here. God damn, nah, that nigga's not 61. You know, okay, my bad. I'm back. That's why I say he look over 70. This dude is aged hard. Okay, but this is this is white privilege right here. If a white man ages hard enough, right? If you put a blazer on him and just some decent clothes, he can usually scam folks into thinking he got some money. Just saying. Just saying. But yeah, so she was getting up close and personal with this nigga. God damn, bro. Nigga, he was on top of her. Yo, he was clapping the cheeks. Nigga, she had to walk. She had to watch him walk to the bathroom afterwards. Ugh. Nasty work, King. Whole lot of sag. Whole lot of sag. That's how they got Diddy.
Damn, nigga, got Diddy.
Got Diddy.
His real name is Keith Morgan, and he is a scammer. Watch this from 2009.
You see here, look, we've got this. Isn't that brilliant?
So he's been caught in a sting operation with a local media outlet. And listen, shout out to them, because listen, old boy definitely was drinking. Whoever the journalist is, listen, he had that liquid courage. He was lit, and he was not backing down from Beloved.
Yeah, brilliant.
Right, can I just point something out to you?
Keith hasn't noticed me.
Outside.
Yeah. Let me just see what that's like.
What's that?
Yeah.
That's what you're recording, is it?
Yeah. That's so good, isn't it?
Hello, Keith. Hello, Keith. Matt, all right. BBC Road Traders. Come on, guys.
Yo, the way they roll up with the quickness in the living room is crazy. So basically, they catch him right in the middle of him trying to scam an old lady. So basically, this is his hustle. This is what he been doing to scamming. He been living a lie. A lot of times, again, when you go on the inside of these relationships, a lot of these white dudes who get into these interracial relationships, a lot of times they be sketchy people. Because most of the time, I don't want to say every time, I can say all the time. Most of the time, especially if he seems to have anything going for himself, they be scammers or something. All right? So, this is him. This is him. Listen, watch how lit it get when old boy pull up, son.
Hello, Keith. How you doing? Matt, all right. BBC Road Traders. Matt, all right. BBC Road Traders. How can you take 645 quid off an old lady for a job that did not need doing, which should have cost 30 quid for a TV?
He said, how do you take 600? I don't even know how much Quinn is. What is Quinn? He said 600. All I know is 680 minus 30 is 650. So you was overcharging the old lady 650 Quinn? Bloody hell. You should be ashamed of yourself. Bloody hell. Oh, man, that's how they got Diddy, man. Come on, man. Come on.
Damn, nigga, got Diddy.
No, chill for what? Who is this nigga? That's how I feel listening.
That was second hand at best, as you know. Second hand at best was about 50 quid. It was a second hand 50 quid TV. A 50 quid TV.
Yo, who's in the passenger side with him? He probably got UK Keisha in the passenger side. Shout out to the reporter, he ain't back down. He put it all on the line every time. And UK Brad, we salute you.
Get out of my way. Keith, how can you do that? Get out. The economy the way it is, how can you do that in full conscience? Knowing what you...
He said in 4 countries. 4 countries. You know what's crazy is the way that he backed out, you would think that it's like the actual cops. Reckless driving, man. Woo! Oh.
Seems like it gave him wings.
Goddamn.
He did go to jail for fraud, as you can...
Tonight I want to see you use that gun.
We'll use that gun. We'll use that gun tonight, baby.
see. But it gets worse. Take a look at this. This is recent. He is a PDF file, and this is important because if you listen to the divester babble, she let him live with her and her young son. Oh,
I just said 71-year-old pedophile Keith Matthews has been jailed for 18 years after being found guilty of 8 counts of sexual offenses against 3 children and Rod and East Cows, the youngest being just 8 years old. God damn! Oh, it's the other day this happened. Oh shit. Okay, so wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So this is for the channel Only Logical. One of the things that he always points out is a lot of times these guys who want to be in these interracial relationships, a lot of times they have like these sexual proclivities, some kind of kinks, they be closeted, all types of stuff, yo. But I wanted to get to her telling the story about how they met and everything. I'm gonna play a little bit of it.
yeah. If you look at the comments on her videos, it explains why these old white degenerates go after black women. She also said he
says they only date black girls because they can get a 10 without having to pay as much as they would if they dated a white woman, and that's also a 10. A white man told me this to my face. It's an insult. Somebody writes, she's not a 10, but yeah, black women are the easiest demo to get. Oh my God, are you serious? Yes, it's a red flag when white men say he only dates black women. I get turned off straight away when I hear that.
had a preference for black women. Luckily, I'm summarizing what she said in case you get tired of her babble. Last thing I will say before the babble begins, not once in her entire story does she care that he was a PDF file. She is mostly mad at the fact that he never bought her a bag or a luxury purse or whatever divestors are calling it. That's why she is mad and exposing the story. She is mad she couldn't flex on IG or TikTok.
Surviving a pathological liar, part 1. As you guys know, I was in a relationship that I post on here, and things didn't go so well, so I'm here to share it with you guys. My name is Kalisha, and I am here to share my story with you guys. So, some of the things he told me is, his name is Kelly Morgan, he lives in Northampton, he's 61, he sells cars, he sells horses.
He says he definitely don't look like he in his 60s. This happened to me recently. He said he was 65. I did research and he was 78. God damn, I also want to say this nigga look near death. That dude is up there in age, my G. Someone else says, yikes, not sure why they bother lying because we always know.
And he's got a roofing business. He also told me that he's got 2 kids, a boy and a girl, and he has a sick mom in Italy, and his background is Irish, and he's got a massive 6-bedroom house in Northampton. And this man also told me that he only dates black girls, and he's got a thing for them. He doesn't really date his own race because...
So, like someone just said in the comment section, so one thing that we have to start talking about is the fact that it really, for the most part, when I really think about it, only black women talk about dating outside their race in this way. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that other groups of women don't have preferences to men who don't look like them or won't date men who don't look like them, but only black women have this thing about like, yo, like it is the best thing possible for me to get with a man who's not black, period. You know what I mean? And she's gonna go through this whole story and whatnot, right? And about all these different lies. I want to jump ahead to the point where she start getting into like who he actually is and what's actually going on.
He just finds black women more attractive and whatever. Okay, that's fine.
Jump ahead.
And I'm thinking, I let you into my home and this is you. To the point where the man tried to change his whole identity. In the video, he had normal color hair like this. If you guys see him on my videos, this man has blonde hair now. He dyed his hair blonde to look a totally different person.
Let's go ahead now.
He told me his name is Kelly Morgan. When I went on Monzo, his initials was the same KM, but a totally different name. A totally different first name and a totally different last name. And remember, a bank is not...
So I've jumped forward. So she's talked about basically how like there's all these red flags and everything, but she still was with him. Now again, the idea is that she thought, or she wanted to get into the idea that I'm going to build a level up by getting with this white guy and everything, and I'm going to overlook the liver spots, the back. Yo, listen, that's the UK too. He UK white, so you know his breath bad. I couldn't imagine how it smelled in that bedroom. especially in the morning time. God damn. Hot diggity dog.
lied to me about someone's identity. So whatever Monzo said to me, that was Bible. So I'm sitting there now, my jaw is on the floor. I'm thinking, for this whole, however months we're together, the man tell me all those lies about his name and his identity. So now I'm thinking, oh God, I don't know what I'm working with right now, so I have to be cautious because I don't want to tell him all the stuff that I found out. Because after I found his name, best believe I went on Google straight away and a whole spread of stuff came up, criminal records, all of that stuff came up, and I'm thinking, I thought you were dodgy, but what the Ross? There was a whole YouTube video about him. There was a whole BBC spread about this man. And I'm thinking, I let you into my home and this is you. To the point where the man tried to change his whole identity. In the video, he had normal color hair like this. If you guys see him on my videos, this man has blonde hair now. He dyed his hair blonde to look a totally different person. He dresses differently now, trying to keep up with this persona that he's painting to everyone, including myself. So based on all my findings, this is what I found. That he's got a criminal record, for sure. He was on the run. He was on the run. His age was a completely different age from what he told me. Remember, this man's name was 61. Please tell me why I'm finding out to the man 71. A whole 10 years more.
No, Levi.
And I'm just like, wow. Just wow. I is his son. This is a white man. Remember from the start he told me he only dates black girls. His ex-wife was black. That's what he told me. So when I saw this white kid, I'm like, that don't make sense. And so yeah, his son was white, so he had a white girlfriend at some point. White wife or whatever, whoever she is to him. The kid's mom. And when he sent me a picture of his supposed wife, this was a young girl, a young black girl. She looks maybe about my age, maybe a little bit older, but she's still not old enough to have a big old son like the one I saw in the video. So I'm like, that does not add up as well. So I'm like, So he hung up and my sister told me, look, you need to leave this man. I told her everything that I found on him and she was telling me, bro, pack up the man's shit. And that's one of the things as well. This man moved his whole wardrobe in my house. Like he's...
So she has defeated every argument that black women be having for why y'all be trying to date out. And it's nothing to listen. It is a very dangerous thing to advertise interracial dating to black women. Okay, because what usually happens, it's what happens behind closed doors. You wind up with white scammers who got bad breath and everything. You got to smell. Liver spots got smells, man. Listen, I could smell this couple from through the screen, man. Pause. And she also just inferred that the child, in terms of how old the mother of his kid seemed, the age difference is not adding up. And she does not seem old enough to have a child this big. So let's go ahead and let that sit for a second. And you know what I mean? And on top of that, he older too. So he come from a different time. All right. But anywho, so she's also speaking on the fact that, and this is the consistent theme of how these white men find black women who make pretty good money or got money and stuff like that, or somewhere they can stay, and they will use a black woman for their resources. Another thing I'm gonna mention is the whole thing about him telling her he only dates black women, his ex-wife is black and whatnot, and why black women won't see that as a red flag. Maybe now they'll see it more because we have more information on social media. But one of the reasons why that's not as much of a red flag as it should be is because of, how can I say? I guess you could say it's the whole culture. It's like this built-up hubris. Because again, it wasn't until like years ago when Kevin Samuels talked about how only black men have to call their women goddess and queen, whereas in other groups of people, those men love their women just as much, or maybe, or who knows, maybe